the DRFC has remained a beacon of resilience and regional integration. It continued to support to development finance institutions through expert guidance, training programs, and the exchange of knowledge, sustaining its pivotal role in promoting regional integration and resilience despite the reduce of members' contribution. Distinguished guests, this forum stands as a timely opportunity for reflection, strategic alignment, and a renewed purpose. It's a chance to deepen partnership and reaffirm our commitment to critical areas such as infrastructure development, SME support, green growth, and regional trade. I encourage each of you to fully engage, share your insights, challenge assumptions, and champion bold, forward-thinking solutions. The future of development finance will not be defined by the size of our institution, but by the depth of our impact and the legacy that we will leave behind. Ladies and gentlemen, with these words, I warmly welcome you again to Gaborone and this important gathering. May our discussions be fruitful and our collaboration enduring. Thank you. Obrigado.
Another big round of applause. The bold steps we're taking are not just ambition, but those that will transform the trajectories of our economies. Thank you very much, sir, for that elaborate overview of why we're here. Allow me to introduce, to just perhaps share a little bit about João Quintas, the Chief Executive of the bank, the Development Bank of Angola. He's been in the industry for over 27 years, and he's done tremendous work within the diplomatic corps, chairman of the executive committee within the Bank of Angola. He's done work recapitalizing and restructuring the economy and has done quite a lot in building the economy of Angola. Thank you so much, sir, for that overview. Allow me to welcome the next speaker, a little closer to home, who really is our host, His Excellency Elias M. Mahosi, the Executive Secretary of the SADC, to give us a note and really welcome you once again to this event. Mahosi.
Thank you very much, our Director of Proceedings. I wished the Minister were here, but she is represented nonetheless by the Deputy Permanent Secretary. I will still recognize her in her absentia because she is supposed to be a part of us this morning. So just to recognize Honourable Bogolo Joy Kenewendo, the Minister of Minerals and Energy of the Republic of Botswana in her absentia, and indeed represented by Mr. Nchena Motebe, the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the same ministry. My colleague, Angel Makombo Ntumba, the Deputy Executive Secretary at the Secretariat, Mr. João Salvador Quintas, the Chairman of SADC Development Finance Institutions Network, and the CEO of Banco de Sanvol. It's a difficult one. Vimento de Angola, of Angola, I believe. Mr. Nduduzi Dlamini, SADC DFRC Board Chair, and the Chief Executive of Eswatini Housing Board, who I believe is in our midst. Our CEO of DFRC, Mr. Swelibansi Sapula, and the CEOs and executives of our region's DFI network, government officials, senior government officials in our midst, and all the panelists that will be speaking for the next couple of days. Our colleagues from the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I thought I should just recognize everybody else. A very good morning once more. Good morning. We're in a hotel, so I trust we had breakfast this morning. I am honored to address the SADC Development Finance Institutions Chief Executive Officers Forum today, which is hosted by this country, the Republic of Botswana, and the SADC Development Finance Resource Center, under the theme, Bold Steps, Shared Future, Building the DFRC of Tomorrow. The forum brings together government representatives, the SADC Development Finance Institutions Network, the private sector, and development partners to jointly discuss pressing economic challenges in the SADC region, and most importantly, appreciate how our respective institutions are responding to the these evolving economic dynamics. I would have wished to recognize the minister, and I think there is a good reason why the DFRC approached her to come and speak with us this morning, because she happens to be a seasoned economist outside of the current job that she carries as a Minister of Energy and Minerals. It would have been ideal for her to share her perspective and help us to shape our collective interrogation and response to the challenges I just highlighted. But I also wish to applaud the SADC DFRC for convening this forum under the leadership of the CEO, as I said, and with the backing and the full support of our development finance institutions in the region. I believe it is a rare occasion to find finance institutions under one roof, choosing to tackle problems together. Your collective resolve and focus in advancing development finance in the region, to me, reflects a strong commitment and a shared sense of urgency towards achieving sustainable economic and particularly social transformation. Distinguished CEOs, the SADC region has not been spared from the economic challenges afflicting the global community. Despite commendable economic performance and notable resilience, structural transformation across the region has been slow and uneven. There is need, therefore, to establish financial institutions which are suitable to address the financing needs of our region, including strengthening already existing ones, such as yourselves in this room. African countries, including SADC member states, continue to grapple with significant structural challenges and a series of severe shocks. The chair of DFIs have spoken about some of these. These include rising food and energy prices, largely driven by geopolitical tensions, both within our region and globally. Climate-related disruptions impacting agriculture and energy production, the effects of the recent shifts in U.S. foreign aid and trade policies. These factors have contributed to a slowdown in real GDP growth. However, looking forward, the economic outlook is more positive, underscoring the inherent resilience and potential of our economies. Even coming out of COVID-19, we have been resilient somewhat. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the SADC region boasts a combined GDP, gross domestic product, of around $720 billion US, offering immense potential for trade and investment opportunities and economic growth, with a substantial market of approximately 360-odd million people, and youth making up 74% of this population. However, structural transformation has been limited. Many economies in the region remain heavily reliant on traditional, low-productive sectors such as agriculture and low-skilled services for both growth and employment. To drive meaningful transformation, the SADC region must prioritize strategic investments in key sustainable development goals areas, including, but not limited to, education, energy, productivity-enhancing technology, and innovation, as well as productive transport infrastructure. The financing needs for these investments is substantial, with an estimated gap of approximately $402 billion US annually through 2030. Bridging this gap will require a multifaceted approach, scaling up particularly domestic resource mobilization, which I believe we've ignored over time. Fostering private sector investment, another area we've not been very good at, and most importantly, increasing external financial flows as complementary sources of funding, not the main sources of funding. Given the magnitude of this challenge, mobilizing all available resources is essential to achieving sustainable and inclusive growth across our region. Development finance institutions remain critical in mobilizing resources, among many other things they do. However, the region is the only African Regional Economic Community, or REC, without its dedicated DFI. In contrast, most of the other RECs on the continent have established their own sub-regional DFIs, recognizing their strategic value in mobilizing resources, achieving economies of scale, and ultimately lowering cost of capital, which is really a stumbling block. Development finance institutions are widely preferred vehicles for channeling capital and donor funds. Their ability to pool resources makes them less risky, and they have clear governance structures and stringent policies that can build capability as well as in-house expertise. Therefore, the DFIs play a critical role in creating access to diverse and global sources of debt and equity, thus catalyzing growth and helping regions like ours to deal with the deep-seated problems of poverty and inequality. They do this often through their ability to access and blend diverse pools of capital for project financing, where viable projects may be difficult to implement on purely commercial terms. Distinguished CEOs, ladies and gentlemen, let me underscore the role of the DFRC in supporting the SADC regional integration agenda. The DFRC was established under the principle of subsidiarity as a SADC institution for purposes of supporting primarily capacity building and other initiatives of the SADC Development Finance Institutions Network. The DFRC plays a pivotal role in contributing to the implementation of the SADC Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan of 2020-2030, and is a strategic enabler that supports member states in translating regional goals into actionable investment-ready programs. For me, this has been a major gap, and this is where we need to facilitate the DFRC, to facilitate ourselves as DFIs to close this particular gap, to translate goals and projects or programs into actionable investment-ready projects. The DFRC fosters a programmatic approach to infrastructure development, focusing on the harmonization of policies, regulations, frameworks, and technical standards across member states. The goal is to ensure alignment, coherence, and deeper regional integration, ultimately creating a more conducive environment for large-scale infrastructure investments to thrive. It is worth noting that while there is an urgent need to finance regional infrastructure, the fiscal space to do so independently remains very limited. To this end, the DFRC is repositioning itself not only as a knowledge partner, but also as a strategic enabler of infrastructure development, regional integration, and financial sustainability across our region. However, for the DFRC to deliver on this renewed mandate and unlock the region's development potential, it requires strong institutional support. As the DFRC steps into this new area of transformation or era of transformation, we invite our development partners who are with us here today, donors, and multilateral institutions to walk the path with us. Your support will be instrumental in strengthening the DFRC's institutional capacity to develop regional infrastructure programs and build a pipeline of impactful investment-ready opportunities across SADC. Together, we can ensure that regional integration is not just a dream, but a reality powered by shared investment and commitment. As I conclude, I wish to highlight that Annex 9 of our founding protocol, the SADC Protocol on Finance and Investment, establishes the cooperation in respect of SADC development finance institutions, mobilization of both financial and human resources for purposes of undertaking sustainable development, investment and trade, finance projects in the region. In this context, the SADC Secretariat reaffirms its continued support for the SADC DFIs network, with a particular emphasis on implementation of the DFRC strategic transformation. We recognize the importance of its 4 strategic pillars of regional impact, rigorous execution, smart partnerships, and financial sustainability as complementary to the SADC's broader regional development agenda. I wish to end with this, that the DFIs yourselves are trusted by funders and governments as recipients of services and support for their development. This is government's development agenda. However, and this is my message, I strongly feel that DFIs should also step up to assist governments and the region to address some of these recurring problems of poverty, inequality, unemployment, and unattractiveness of member states or countries to draw and access cheap finance or development finance. I believe it's us as DFIs who should step up and assist governments and the region to do this. This is what I envisage, and I leave it to you to ponder over this for the next 2 days. I envisage a platform that brings the region's DFIs together, like today, to thoroughly examine these perennial issues and develop robust, practical, and sustainable solutions that help countries to truly solve these problems. I don't think we can continue to exist as DFIs, and these problems are running parallel to us. To me, it is not good enough only for you to be providing financing and financing solutions to the exclusion of addressing these problems together with governments. You've got the wherewithal, you've got the resources within your organizations to actually examine them, interrogate them deeply, and help governments to actually address this. So it's not enough only to be financing, but we must delve deeper in some of these. As I said, I know you have the resources, expertise, and influence to consider and do this noble gesture for our region. The Secretariat, led by me here, is committed to partner with you as we navigate this uncharted territory and as we complement the enhanced mandate of the DFRC to bring lasting and impactful change in our region. I believe when you did what I just said, that's when we make an impact. If we don't do that, we are the also-rans, and people might even forget why we exist. So it's important that we step up and help governments and countries to address their problems. I thank you for your attention and wish you fruitful deliberations and a successful forum. Muito obrigado, merci beaucoup, asante sana, yaleboha.
Another big round of applause for His Excellency, having been sworn in August 2021, serving as Executive Secretary under SADC. Thank you, sir, for that affirmation. You've done quite a lot within the region, and we can see the strides that have been made by SADC, creating an enabling environment to trade. And we trust that in this room we've got decision makers, we've got policy makers, and this will not just be another conversation, but one that will come up with tangible actions. For those that are joining online, welcome once again to the CEOs Forum, the SADC DFRC CEOs Forum, under the theme, Building Bold Steps, Shared Value, and Building the DFRC of Tomorrow. So the SADC DFRC's mandate is not just to simply finance projects, but it's to mobilize possibilities and to unlock capital for growth and to enable DFIs to drive an inclusive and employment-creating investment across Southern Africa. So once again, thank you, sir, for that overview and just commitment and reaffirming the commitment of the SADC Secretariat in making these ambitions a reality. So at this point, would like to welcome representation, the Minister Bogolo Kenewendo's representation to give us the speech. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Director of Ceremony. Good morning. Like it has been indicated, my name is Nchena Motebe, Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Minerals and Energy. I'm responsible for energy there. And I'll be delivering the speech of the Honourable Minister Bogolo Joy Kenewendo. And when I say I, know that it's the minister speaking, it's not me. So you'll bear with me with that regard. Thank you very much. His Excellency Elias Mahosi, SADC Executive Secretary, is my boss. Mr. João Salvador Quintas, Chairman of the SADC DFRC Network and Chief Executive Officer of the Banco de Desenvolvimento de Angola, I think it's development. Ms. Angele Makombo Ntumba, Deputy Secretary, Regional Integration of Southern African Development Community. Dr. Kennedy K. Mbekiani, Deputy Director General, Southern Africa of African Development Bank. Mr. Mduduzi Dlamini, SADC DFRC Board Chair and Chief Executive Officer of Eswatini Housing Board. Mr. Zwelibanzi Sapula, Chief Executive Officer of SADC Development Finance Resources Center. CEOs and executives of the SADC DFI Network. Senior government officials here present. Esteemed speakers and panelists, members of diplomatic corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once more. Dumela, where is the energy in the room? Thank you very much. It is a great honor to join you today. As Botswana's Minister of Minerals and Energy, I come before you not only as a policy maker, but as a passionate African who believes our region is ripe for an economic revolution. Together, we can ignite industrial growth, add value to our vast resources, and power our nations into the future. And as the Minister of Energy, I promise to keep the energy high in the room. I know there was some load shedding some time back in here in Botswana, so I promise that there won't be any. Southern Africa stands on the cusp of transformation. In Botswana, we have made it our mission to industrialize and beneficiate, to move from being mere exporters of raw materials to creators of finished products and opportunities. We refuse to accept that our role is just to dig and ship. Instead, we are building industries and skills at home. For instance, take our mining sector. Over the past 5 years, Botswana has opened 5 new mines for base metals, including copper and nickel, after a decade-long hiatus. This revitalized our mining towns and bolstered our revenues. But we aren't stopping at extraction. We are adding value. My ministry has developed a downstream expansion strategy aligned with global markets. In plain terms, that means more local processing and manufacturing. We have issued new prospecting licenses and attracted companies like Gianni Metals to establish new manganese production facilities. Manganese, along with other critical minerals like cobalt and lithium, is vital for batteries and the green economy. And yes, Botswana is blessed here too. Just like last year, vast deposits of platinum were discovered in our Hansi and Chobe regions. And a large manganese deposit was confirmed in Kanye. In fact, experts now say Botswana has almost all 30 critical minerals identified by US needed for clean energy transitions. This could mean another 100+ years of continued mining ahead of us. Wise management means beneficiation, a word I know is dear to many of you, that is beneficiation. In Botswana's diamond industry, we have a proud story of beneficiation. Diamonds are a bedrock of our economy, but we insisted that there is sparkle for us beyond the mine pit. Last year, we concluded a historic agreement with De Beers that will gradually raise Botswana's share of the Botswana's diamond output from 25% to 50% over the next decade. This deal ensures that more diamonds will be available for Botswana's own Okavango Diamond Company, that is ODC, to market and sell, capturing more value locally. We are home to 58 diamond cutting and polishing factories today, providing jobs and skills to thousands of Botswana. Despite ups and downs in the global market, we haven't given up on our vision to become a world-class diamond trading and manufacturing hub. We are even exploring a unique Botswana hallmark for our gems, an elephant diamond or Okavango diamond, to tell the consumer that our stones are ethically sourced and support our communities. When we say diamonds for development, we really mean it. Crucially, we want these benefits to reach our people at all levels. It's not for policies to exist on paper. They must translate into jobs and equity for citizens. As one union leader noted, sometimes beneficiation feels visible only at the national level and not on the ground. We are determined to change that. For example, we are promoting employee share ownership programs so that mine workers can own shares in mining ventures. And we are supporting citizen-owned business to join mining supply chains. In my previous role as a trade minister, she was a trade minister before, I introduced a supplier development program that successfully integrated SMEs into major value chains. The result was a surge in local entrepreneurship and foreign investment. We are carrying that inclusive approach into the minerals and energy sector. As I often say, we deserve equal opportunity. Opportunity creates better livelihoods and opens up a world of possibilities for all. Industrialization must uplift women, youth, and communities along with the economy. It must be inclusive to truly succeed. On the energy generation and transmission, as you may agree with me, industrialization cannot happen without power or energy. Energy is the livelihood of development. And in Botswana, we are pushing boldly on this front. Our vision is to ensure energy security for our country and contribute to a vibrant regional power pool. We never want a factory to sit idly or a village in the dark due to lack of electricity. To this end, Botswana has embraced an energy strategy that balances immediate needs with a sustainable future. Yes, we continue to maintain our traditional energy sources, including an important 600 megawatt clean coal project Morupule to keep the lights on. But the real excitement is in renewable energy. Our nation basks in over 3,200 hours of sunshine a year. Rather than case the desert heat, we are turning into megawatts. We have set an ambitious target that 50% of our energy shall come from renewable energy by 2030, just 5 years from now. This isn't just on paper, it's already underway. The first wave of 335 megawatts of solar and wind projects by independent power producers is at various stages of development. Already, through our national power utility, Botswana Power Corporation has signed 13 power purchase agreements with private producers for solar plants. 3 of them at various sites, Madinari, Bobono, and Shakawe, of these new solar projects are already operational, feeding clean power into our grid, and 10 more small-scale solar PV projects, totaling about 180 megawatts, are at financial close, and are expected to be online by the end of next year. These may be small, but for the communities, the power, and the entrepreneurs who build them, they are life-changing. I think you will agree with me. We are also investing in big renewables, grid-connected. In 2024, with support from the World Bank and partners, we launched the Renewable Energy Support and Access Accelerator project. This $122 million initiative, blending loans and grants, is financing grid upgrades and Botswana's first 50 utility-scale battery storage system. And why big battery? Obviously, because we want to smoothly integrate all the solar energy we are bringing in, storing daytime sunshine to use at night. I think we all know that simple PV, you can only have energy when there's sunshine. So we use the battery storage so that when we don't have sunshine, we're able to continue generating electricity. I'm proud to say Botswana's rural electrification has exceeded 87% of villages, and we are pushing towards universal access so that we reach by 2030, we reach 100% village electrification program. We currently stand at 70% electricity access, and we are being number 6 in Botswana. We are not happy about it. We want to be number 1. And to be number 1, we've set a target to reach 100% access by 2030, 5 years from now. So looking ahead, we have even larger clean energy projects in the pipeline. We are in a final procurement for 500 megawatt solar power plant at Maung, which is divided into two by 250. Also another place in Letakani, 400 megawatts, 2 sites, 2 by 200 megawatts, and just north of Gaborone, 400 megawatts, divided into 2 plants, 2 by 200, which we envisage will be operational by end of 2026 or beginning of 2027. As we speak now, an additional 100 megawatt solar plant is under construction in Jwaneng and Madinari, another 100 megawatts. And yes, let's not forget wind. In Botswana, wind has corridors too, and we are studying how to tap them. All these efforts align with our commitment under the Paris Agreement. Botswana has pledged to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 15% by the year 2030, coming from the baseline of 2010. We are serious about climate action because we know our climate vulnerability. Droughts, unpredictability rains, and also we see opportunity. Green growth is smart growth. We want to produce the solar panels, batteries, even the green hydrogen that the world will need. To make the most of our energy investments, regional integration is key. It is not efficient for each of our countries to do it alone. Through the Southern African Power Pool, Botswana is strengthening interconnectors with South Africa, Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and beyond. We envision a future where SADC countries trade electricity freely, where surplus solar power in one country by daylight, in another at night, and where a new hydropower dam in a neighboring state provides backup during peak hours. This vision requires not just trust, but infrastructure, high voltage transmission lines crossing borders, harmonized regulation, and significant financing. Now, this brings me to the heart of my message, why we are here. The indispensable role of development finance institutions. Colleagues, we have bold plans. In Botswana and across SADC, we want to industrialize, to beneficiate, to build solar farms and roads, railway lines. The question, therefore, is how will we pay for all this? Especially in a time of tight budgets. The answer, in a large part lies with you, our DFIs and your partners. Development finance institutions are unique catalysts in our development journey. Unlike commercial lenders, you exist to deliver long-term development impact, not just short-term profits. SADC recognizes this role. Our regional blueprint, RSDP of 2020 to 2030, explicitly calls out a DFI's role in financing development and expanding productive capacity in line with our common agenda. During the tough years of COVID-19, when government revenues fell and private investment wavered, it was DFIs that stepped up with counter-cyclical funding. You kept essential projects alive. In fact, governments now expect DFIs to mobilize resources to fill fiscal gaps and drive development more than ever. We do not take this for granted. I want to thank the DFIs present from the Development Bank of Southern Africa, Industrial Development Corporation of South Africa, and the African Development Bank, to our national institutions like Botswana Development Corporation and the National Development Bank for the projects you have financed in our region. Infrastructure development in SADC owes much to you. The majestic Kazungula Bridge connecting Botswana and Zambia and the rest of Southern Africa, or SADC, for example, was made possible by a coalition of funders, including the African Development Bank. That bridge is more than steel and concrete. It has increased trade, tourism, and integration for our economies. Likewise, many of our electrification projects, SME financing schemes, and agricultural value developments were funded and co-funded by DFIs. You have been the ones willing to take the longer view and the patient capital approach. Yet, we all acknowledge that the needs are vast. Africa's development financing gap, whether for infrastructure, SMEs, or climate adaptation, is still in the hundreds of billions of dollars. Our region cannot afford to address poverty and unemployment without massive investment. This is a call to action. I urge DFIs to be bold and innovative in resource mobilization. We have to think beyond traditional loans. How can we tap the growing pool of climate finance, for instance? There are green funds, climate investment platforms, and carbon credit facilities seeking projects. DFIs are well placed to intermediate these funds into bankable African projects. How can we leverage the private sector? Blended finance models where the DFS take the first loss or profit or provide guarantees can help attract commercial investors into projects they would otherwise shy away from. Sustainable bonds, impact investments, public-private partnerships, this should be in every DFI's toolkit. Most importantly, collaboration is key. No single institution can do it alone. I was just talking before he came here with His Excellency about the importance of collaboration, especially here in Botswana. I encourage syndication among DFIs for major regional projects. If a transformative project is too large for one DFI, bring others on board. Share the risks and returns. Why shouldn't the Development Bank of Namibia, Botswana's BDC, and the Industrial Development Corporation of South Africa co-finance a new Trans-Kalahari railway line or a regional solar grid? By pooling capital and expertise, you not only spread risk, but also learn from each other. In the spirit of SADC, let's truly work together across borders. After all, our challenges do not stop at the borders, neither should our solutions. We in government also have a role in making your work easier. I assure you that Botswana is committed to maintaining a stable microeconomic environment and investor-friendly policies. We continue to improve the ease of doing business, from cutting red tape to digitalizing government services. We know policy certainly is crucial for investment decisions with 20 or 30 horizons. As a former trade minister and now a finance partner, I have been on a campaign to assure investors that Botswana is open for business and that partnerships are welcome. Today, at this forum, I extend that assurance specifically to DFIs. Your partnerships are valued, and we stand ready to support and engage with you on viable projects. Bring us your ideas, tell us what policy or regulatory hurdles we need to address, and we will certainly listen. Before I conclude, let me lighten the mood with a small truth. They say a banker is someone who lends you an umbrella when the sun is shining and asks for it back when it starts to rain. But you are the ones helping us build a roof before the storm comes, ensuring we are resilient when the hard times hit. You take on risks that others avoid in order to achieve rewards that others overlook. Not financial reward, but social reward. The payoff of a new factory built, a new job created, a child connected to electricity, a community lifted out of hardship. That is nothing short of heroic in my eyes. A round of applause for yourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, in Botswana, we have a saying, if there's no seat for you, bring a bench. I have lived by this slogan in my career. Remember, I'm talking on behalf of the minister. When I was the only woman, when I was the only woman in many boardrooms, I did not wait for a chair to be offered. I pulled my bench in the context of development. If the global financial system doesn't fully accommodate Africa's aspirations, we in Africa will build our own solutions. DFIs are one such solution. Our collective bench to sit at the global table and demand our share of prosperity. I'm hopeful about the future. When I look around this room, I see partners in progress. I see institutions with the power to turn our ambitious blueprints into brick and mortar reality. Let us approach the coming years with the courage to take bold steps, invest in that innovative startup, finance that transmission line to a remote region, support that new mining beneficiation plant. Some initiatives will succeed brilliantly, some may stumble, but we will learn and keep moving forward. Our countries are dependent on us to light up our homes, to industrialize economies, and to create decent jobs. Distinguished guests, we are the authors of the next chapter of SADC's development story. Let's make it a story of unprecedented growth, of youthful innovation, and inclusive prosperity. Rise. There's no better time for us to own our spaces, do what we believe in, and shine. I truly believe that Africa's time is now. And with your commitment, DFIs, we shall surely rise. I wish to thank you very much for your listeners. Pula. Pula. Thank you very much.
Another big round of applause for Another big round of applause for Mr. Nchena Mutebe, standing on behalf of the Minister, Bogolo Joy Kenewendo. And when he left, he said Pula, and I trust the fellow bankers in the room were said to take umbrellas when it starts raining, but I trust he wasn't talking about that particular rain. Thank you so much, Nchena, and Minister, in your absence, for really just making the reality of our country's commitment. Thank you for a powerful and timely address. Your words remind us that energy is not just a sector, but it's one that ignites industrial growth and regional integration and a resilient future for SADC citizens. You made a few commitments and strategic objectives that the Botswana government has to create an enabling environment for business and industrialization, to have Botswana as a hub and a gateway for regional integration. And you spoke at length about the energy as a catalyst of transformation and Botswana's commitment to diversify and build up our green technology. You spoke about mobilizing capital for green economy and strengthening DFIs as engines of growth and charging the DFIs that are in the room to make a bold statement and really find a seat at the table and make these tangible commitments a reality. As we turn that spark into a sustained flame, I'm trusting we're turning that spark into a sustained flame. You spoke at length about sustainability. It's now my honor and privilege to welcome the visionary at the helm of this region's development finance engine, the visionary behind and the remarkable team that has put this together, a leader committed to bold steps and shared future. He stirs up the SADC DFI network with clarity and purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome Mr. Zwelibanzi Sapula, who has recently been appointed, but I trust you're almost going towards a year, Zweli, as the CEO, but we've already seen the remarkable work that you and your team are doing. You've held several leadership roles within DBSA and have been instrumental in the execution of South African Nuclear Energy Corporation, and you've got notable achievements within the region, and it's an absolute honor to have you lead in this remarkable work. So, Mr. Zweli, please come forth as we close out and release the minister in her absence, Mr. Nchen.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone, and I'm very honored to be standing here in front of you today. Deputy Permanent Secretary of Energy and Minerals, Honourable Nchena Matube, Executive Secretary of SADC Secretariat, His Excellency Mr. Elias Mahosi, Deputy Executive Secretary Ms. Angela Mutumba, Chair of the DFI Network Mr. João Salvador Quintas, Chair of the DFRC Board Mr. Ntutuzi Dlamini, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps Her Excellency Dr. Beatrice Moraes, Your Excellencies from the Embassies and High Commissions, Head of International Organizations, distinguished guests, esteemed CEOs and speakers, welcome. This moment is for me to thank the speakers that have spoken before us. They have given us a task. They have reminded us of the importance of the work that we do as DFIs. They have reminded us that the economic transformation of this region really rests on the hands of the people that sit in this room. The one thing that they have spoken about, which is really important, is the importance of collaboration, which I really do believe that through smart partnerships, not just through the DFIs by themselves, but also with multilaterals, with international organizations, with governments, will really help us in achieving the requirements or improving the economic status of the region. I truly believe that Africa is the future. I truly believe that we sit on the precipice of creating something really amazing and great within this region. And I truly believe that the hands that are able to do that are sitting here in this room who will enable that transformation to happen. At this moment, I would really like to thank our speakers for their amazing and truly wise words that they have shared with us this morning. They have reminded us of so much in terms of what we need to do, and they've reminded us of a key role that we play as DFIs in this region. And with those words, I would really like to thank the Minister in her absence, and really thank Mr. Nchona for the wise words and delivering the Minister's speech. And we do know that you are not the woman in the boardrooms. And we really do thank you for that. And at this moment, colleagues, we have a gift that we had prepared to give to the Minister, and we would really like to give that to you, Mr. Nchona, on behalf of the Minister.
He's questioning if the gift will arrive at the Minister, but we have several cameras in the room, and we'll come back. We'll find out if the Minister received the program. So my role is pretty easy, right? My role is to take you through the program. My other role is to ensure that we're all energized. I'm just going to pardon you for this first segment, assuming that some of us didn't have coffee, some of us didn't have breakfast, some of us had traveled. But trust me, the second segment, we're all going to get through with it. So at this moment, we're going to take a short health break. We're then going to be led by the media team to take that a group picture with our executives. Just by the front, they will lead us where we're going to take a group picture. And we should be back in 30 minutes. At exactly 11 o'clock, may we kindly be back seated for us to start the next
Well, as we're seeing there, the Secretary General of SADC, Ramakhosi, there, were together with SADC counterparts, which is happening right here at the CBD in Gaborone. What is happening here at the CBD is that here in Gaborone, there's a significant event that is happening as SADC Development Finance Resource Center CEO's Forum is being relaunched today. We did, this is an event that of the magnitude to have the Minister of Minerals and Energy, Bogolo Kenewendo, grace it, as we have been getting from the report. She has Ramachola representing her to officiate at the ceremony. It's an event that really is coming together to strengthen regional finance institutions.